the City of Angels is black and gold. You are listening to the Heart of LAFC podcast. And now, Joseph Zacher.
Greetings, Los Angeles. Welcome to episode 188. That's right, 188. Pushing close to 190, pushing close to 200. We just keep plugging away. But in this case, it's a fun episode. We have stuff to celebrate, stuff to talk about, and it's a change. We're not talking about the same old thing like we've been talking for the last few matches. There's new stuff. So this is actually a really exciting day to talk about LAFC. Christine, welcome back to the show. How are you doing tonight?
Good. It's good to be back and good to see you.
Same here. You know, the long 3 weeks and all that madness, and I'm supposed to be rested and relaxed, and far from that. Adventures are adventures, and it's worth it. But it's always amazing to be back on.
Well, you've been on the road. You've had some crazy adventure with your family.
Yeah, I mean, it was nearly almost 5,000 miles of driving.
Wow.
Yeah, I went nuts. I'll eventually throw the pictures up for everybody to see, right? Instagram will get its love for me in a while. You know, I'm terrible with it anyway. But if you follow my wife's Instagram, you'll see everything. That's where it's all at. But yeah, it's good stuff. And now it's back to the world of football. So, you know, as you notice, those who know, but this is actually a Euro 96 kit for Germany in honor of that amazing victory at Wembley at the expense of England. Oh, yeah. Aren't we playing those guys next week? Yes, that's the case. So there it is. I had to wear it. A little bit of luck, a little bit of love. Also for my dad, this would have been his birthday today. So much love, Pops, all the way up there. Had to wear it. Had to pay my respects to my dad, and of course, get ready for the rivalry because that's what it's all about. In case you haven't watched Euro 96 or got a chance to look at that, I still think that's one of the best tournaments ever. So just check it out. You'll see why, the stars and all that. It's good stuff. So let's get back to what we're doing here, LAFC. So this is 188. I'm going to call this one Moonrise for very obvious reasons. Not the full moon. That's not the reason why, but yeah, Moonrise is what we're going to call this because it was a breakout match for a lot of players, including the one and only Moon, Kim Hoon-won. Dude, he killed it. And so we have to talk about it. Actually, I was really happy with everybody's performance, the newbies at least. So we'll cover that as well. So basically, many changes were needed in the lineup because we obviously have a game tomorrow. And it's, I guess, 3 games in about 8 days. So that's pretty much the way it lined up for Dallas. So that being said, Christine, who were the guys we brought in? How did things change up?
Yeah, we saw a different lineup because, like you said, they needed to rotate some players in. So I think the biggest surprise for me was Tomas Romero starting in goal, the 20-year-old goalie who came from the USL and who's sort of used to being the youngest player on the team, but did not expect him to get a start and play 90 minutes. So that was super exciting to see him there. The other 2 players that were sort of a surprise was Cal Jennings. He got his first start. And then, of course, Kim Hoon-won. Not so much a surprise, kind of expected that it might happen this game. But it's been a few weeks in the making. So it was really exciting to finally see him get his first start.
Well earned, let's be honest. I think what we've seen in Vegas from those who were playing in Vegas, these were the right guys. The other guy was Duke, and he got his chance in the earlier match. So it was just good to see the change. I love everything Corey Baird does for us, but rotation is key. We're going to need Baird to step up this weekend. So yeah, I was extremely happy to see the changes, and we talked about that on the last episode when Fresco was on and Ben, and said, dude, shake something up, do something different. We're all getting kind of tired of seeing the same thing because it's not working. Something has to give. And our hand was forced a little bit because Kay was actually questionable on the day. Maybe I think more rest, but yeah, it looked like he was questionable. He was listed as questionable, so no chances taken. And so, yeah, new blood, new mindset, and more changes would be happening later, which was super cool. So game kicks off. it flies. Probably the guy that you have to say is the story of the matches, of course, is Carlos Vela. I mean, this was as vintage as it gets for a performance for the man. We were all talking about, man, he looks tired. There's something missing. There's something missing.
Right.
Somebody got him mad. That's all I can figure. He was on edge. Christine, what was your take for those first few minutes from him?
I thought that we finally saw him coming back into his almost his full fitness. And you really expect that kind of like dynamic movement from Vela all the time. So the fact that he was sort of underperforming the past few games was odd, and was disappointing. So when he finally looked back in his original form, it was really exciting. And you just see how good he is in terms of his footwork, in terms of his cuts. He's so sharp, and yeah, we saw them within the first 4 minutes, literally, is when he got his first goal. So that first goal that Villa got, it's him and Atuesta combining. He does like a little, almost like a croqueta to Atuesta, and then he makes a run inside the box. Atuesta, being the player who can really kind of thread the needle, he finds Vela inside the box, and Vela takes like a first touch with his left foot inside, and just bangs it into the right corner. So that was a beautiful goal. It was a goal that was initially set up by Kim and Blessing. So super relieved, I guess, as you could say the word, because we needed a sign at this point that Vela was coming back. And I think this was the sign that, like, yes, he's back, and he just needed a couple games under his belt to come back to his original Vela form.
So we could call this the Carlos Vela proof of life match.
It is much. Like, yeah, I mean, it's nerve wracking to think, like, because there's always that doubt in the back of your mind, like, oh man, maybe after injury, players don't always return to their full form. So you never know what's going to happen, just in terms of his, physical condition, his mental condition. So seeing that first goal was amazing. And then, of course, a few minutes later at 11 minutes, he does that beautiful free kick to the bottom right corner, hits the post. If that went in, it would have been like all over. But just that the fact that he hit the post was also extremely exciting. Unlucky, but a really good free kick also.
Yeah, it was extremely unfortunate not to see that bounce in rather than out. It was a perfect curve on the inside of the post, right? I mean, odd bounce at the end of it. But I almost like hit the deck after that. It was so cool to watch. Like, honestly, like I almost fell down in the north end because it was so mesmerizing those first few minutes. I was like, geez, I don't remember this. And this is the Vela that we've all like grown to adore, let's be honest. And to see him do that. Yeah. And then the first goal, I just love anytime you have a player kind of do this give and go where you go back in the box, back outside the box, back in the a center back is pretty much like they're toast. They're not going to do much with that. You can't. Yeah. You're stuck in. It freezes you. In this case, they basically had like 3 center backs, and they all look frozen on the play. It was absolutely perfect. So yeah, the first few minutes of Vela was something very special. I know Bob kind of hinted at it before the game, right? Well, it depends on what he wants to do. It was kind of the way he threw it back at Vela. Like, it's not about minutes. It's really what Vela wants to do. And yeah, to me, that was one of those challenge statements. Like, okay, let's, you still have it? Show it. He still has it, guys. It was cool. Yeah. Right. Good stuff. Moving forward, I mean, the rest of the half was us dominating and the goalkeeper from Dallas surviving. That's pretty much what I saw. Yeah. We didn't get a whole lot of shots outside of those few moments because they were pretty much trying to bunker in any cases, and the counters weren't happening either for them. And I believe they didn't even have a shot on goal in that first half. There was nothing in it. And our guys were closing well. So it was really fun to watch, to see how aggressive we were on our back line. Because it seemed like for Kim Moon-Hwan, his choice to come back was when he felt like it or on dead balls. And that was about it. He was basically playing like another wing or mid. and just pushing. Well, at the same time,
Yeah.
Farfan took his moment to do that, but still played a little more conservative.
Right.
Honestly, Farfan probably should have been a little bit better on his distribution for the day, but it's kind of a recurring conversation we're having in his case. Otherwise, stellar defensively, and Murillo in that first half was just absolute genius, right? I mean, there was
Yeah.
no question from him. So the midfield,
Agreed.
it was better than expected, seeing who was in the lineup, but still can't
Yeah.
complain. And I know it's Dallas. You guys are like, yeah, well, I mean, you're talking these guys up that they're playing Dallas. Yeah, it's Dallas with a much improved lineup. They shouldn't be this bad. They shouldn't. They're
Hmm.
underperforming right now. But you have to win the games that you consider the easy games. You can't throw them away like we've done in the past. You have to execute. And they were executing. And that's why we need to be happy about this, because execution was there. Killer instinct was there. And then came the second half. And
Hmm.
that was the moment where I was sitting there in the north end trying to sing, but also kind of counting players, because they call the substitution and they're like Blackman in, and what was it? Yeah, it was odd, right? He came in for
Yeah. Blackman came in,
yeah.
and then later Musovski came in. Towards the very, very end, Janela and Harvey came in. But I would be remiss to forget to point out that the other starter was Blessing.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's just like the number one topic for when I hear just general people like at the stadium talk about the game. He seems to be the player that's always on people's minds in terms of who they want to see and who they like
Mm-hmm.
the most. And so the fact that he started and that he was involved in one way or another, all of the goals and all of the big chances, I think that he really gave all the fans what they'd been looking for. A lot of energy. And against a team like Dallas, where we don't have to play perfectly defensively. I think it was the right choice because he's a bit more free to make those offensive plays, and he doesn't have to be so responsible in terms of making sure that he's disciplined defensively. I think he really found his sweet spot, and people were just going crazy for him. They're just so like happy with his play.
And I think a lot of that was, most of it was, I felt, in the second half when you got to see the aggressive Blessing, like,
Hmm.
and why Bob changed the system in the second half. He completely changed what we normally do. I don't
Yeah,
know if most noticed it, but it was like, wait, we're playing with 3 center backs, a lot like
yeah,
Seattle does. And now Kim Moon Hwan is technically a wing back, but he's not worried about playing wing or in the
right.
back. And Farfan as well, wing back and playing really high. And it's kind of like, well, this time if we turn it over in the second half, guess what? You got to go through 3 defenders who are already in place and not going anywhere. And to me, that was flawless. I thought this was the best move yet. Even better, most
Yeah.
teams when they play like this is pretty much a 5-3-2, right?
Hmm.
Instead of playing it flat or using a central attacking mid,
Hmm.
he had Atuesta drop back as a defensive mid,
Hmm.
and Blessing and Sifu were advanced midfielders. So
Yeah.
almost like 2 central attacking midfielders and Atuesta just cleaning up the garbage. Like that's what
Right.
it turned into. I thought it was brilliant, honestly. Bob, kudos to you, man. This was perfect. This was a perfect move. It's what we all wanted to see. I'm gonna cry, man. That's how happy I was to see this change. Uh, and it worked. It just plain worked. And if you look at, we'll talk about projected goals and the stats, but this was cool. And I really hope this is an experiment that we're going to use against SKC this weekend, because they play a
Mhm.
4-3-3 and it would be a great way to counter a 4-3-3. So
Right.
it looked good. The subs were right, I believe, in the moment.
Mhm.
I know everybody's like Musaski for Vela. Hey, we need Vela on the weekend, and we know he's not 100%, so it's
Right.
okay. And Moose is hungry anyway, so it
Yeah.
worked. And then Janela needed to moonlight a bit, so that move was good.
Yeah.
And Harvey got a few minutes, which I
That
didn't know
was
if we were going to see
cool.
him at all this year. I mean, we were all
Yeah.
chanting for Harvey, like, didn't think he's going to get to play at all. And he comes in and he does his job, because
Yeah.
there's a lot less stress when there's 3 guys in the back pretty much just peppering it back in. And then what's funny is at times Maria was given the freedom to bump up,
Mm-hmm.
and just let Segura and Blackman hang back, and he got into the mix. So it was really fun to see how dynamic this new setup was. I mean, Christine,
Completely.
what was your take on this change?
I think you said it. It was just a fun game to watch because we didn't have to stick to a system that we've seen in the past game after game. And when we moved to that 5-3-2 where we can really transition to throwing a lot of attacking players forward, that's just really fun because that's when you get a lot of the offensive combinations. That's when you get a lot of different looks at goal. That's when you see the wing backs be able to take on players one on one. People really just, I don't know, going for it and going at it. And it's just super entertaining football in that format.
And let's be honest, Seattle's playing this system, except they're, I think, at one central attacking mid and two defensives. So that's
Mhm.
the subtle change between the two.
Yeah.
Ours is much more offensive minded, actually. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Bob can't help himself. He has to be front foot, right? So I'm
Mhm.
okay with it, knowing that those center backs are there. And I
Mhm.
really want to see this lineup from the start, like something like this from the start. I think it
Mhm.
would be it was good technically in the moment, but I do think it could be something that you'd see a lot more of, and I'd be really happy to see that happen.
Yeah.
Nestor brought up, I just saw the comment, so I just wanted to address it. He goes, or 3-5-2. At times
Mhm.
it looked like a 3-5-2. It really did, because Kim Moon-hwan wasn't really required to go back unless the ball was dead. I mean,
Mhm.
really, he didn't have to come back that much.
Right.
Farfan did play back a little more, even though he was pushing all the time. But
Yeah.
technically, it was a 5-3-2. But dude, there were times where it honestly did look like a 3-5-2 as well.
Yeah.
The
Absolutely.
freedom, the freedom of wingbacks, right? It's a beautiful system to play if you have a fast team. This is ideal. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially if you're playing against a team that doesn't, you're not too concerned about them countering. So that's the best scenario, is to really utilize those players who have a lot of pace and who are creative and who have a lot of technique.
Right. And
Yeah.
freedom. Freedom is a good thing. And think about
Mhm.
Blessing's situation where everybody dogs him about his defensive contributions in games, right?
Yeah,
When you're set in this way, he doesn't have to stress about that. His job is
completely.
pretty one-dimensional in that moment. It's I'm gonna
Yeah,
distribute, I'm gonna cut into the middle, I'm gonna create some chaos. And
right.
he scored as a result of this,
He did. I mean,
right?
I think he deserves in a way sort of a tie with for man of the match as well. Um, but so his goal was assisted by Villa, and Blessing actually set Villa up with a really nice through ball, and then Villa, beat his defender down the line and finds Blessing in the middle. It was initially called off. Well, it was potentially offside, so they did a VAR check. But yeah, he was not offside, so the goal was good. And it just seemed really appropriate because Blessing had put in a lot of work in terms of just uh, making sure that every ball was going forward and that he was finding the wingers or the number 9. So it was perfect that he scored. It was the perfect game for him to score.
He earned it on the day, and if it wasn't him, it was gonna be Sifu earlier in the day.
Right.
And I mean, let's talk about the goalkeeping situation for Dallas.
Oh
I was going to give
man.
the honorable mention, but I'll hand it to you. I mean, could you believe some of those saves that we were seeing in this game?
Yeah, Mauer was he really saved his team from going down 4 or 5 goals. So Sifu had a couple looks at goal. He had one from outside the box that was really well placed and had a little spin on it. So Mauer saved that one in the first half, I believe. And then there was another clear, like 5 yards outside of the goal that Sifu had, and Sifu shot it kind of sort of really directly at Maurer, but it still took Maurer some skill to save that goal because I think he like kicked it out with his leg. He just made
He
himself
was
really big.
moving across goal at full tilt, and
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, hard
Um,
play.
Yeah, so I don't know the stats off the top of my head. I think you have them, but the
Mhm.
number of shots on goal that he blocked is pretty impressive.
So he had 6 saves on the day,
Hmm.
5 were in the box.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
great. He was putting in the work.
yeah. I mean, we had 8, like, yeah, I mean, I think it was 8, like, on goal, but there's other blocks as well, but yeah, 6
Right,
saves, 5 in the box. You're supposed to get throttled when that happens. So, yeah,
right.
that's nothing that's usually competitive in those moments. And to add to that, let's talk about the stats that kinda did matter, and I believe they
Hmm.
were all pretty much skewed because of the second half system. They really
Right.
were.
Hmm.
It was 50-50 in terms of possession. You're like, "Really? That game seems so dominant for us."
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like that because we just kept speeding through and trying to create, like, quick opportunities rather than worrying about the buildup. It was more of, "Let's run and gun this thing."
Hmm.
And so, yeah, you get turnovers. Chances created, we had 16 chances, they had 12. Counters, counters.
Hmm.
Shots were 19 to 13. Uh, yeah, 14 of the shots were inside the box. Only 8 got through, but still, that's 14 times you take an attempt inside the box. That's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
You know how many shots they had on goal? 1. 1 shot on goal, and Romero was there. No worries at all. Simple,
Wow.
easy. Expected goals first half versus second half. I had to throw this up there, and this is basically like your chances creative divided by chances successfully done.
Hmm.
Um, First half, our chance creation rate was 0.94. So that's an expected maybe 1, which,
Hmm.
yeah. Second half was expected goals 2.24, which
Wow.
means you should have had 2 according to the
Right.
chances created.
Yeah.
It would have been 3 on the day if you're really building that up. But the
Yeah.
difference, 0.94 to 2.24, that's the system as far as I'm
Hmm.
concerned. It's production. You're dropping the dagger pretty much into these guys. If it
Yeah.
finishes, you get it. And we both know it should have been probably 3 or 4.
Hmm.
So, yeah, just it worked. It just worked. It's just great to see a change that worked. Passing accuracy. This was funny. We had our worst accuracy in terms of passing pretty much this season. We were at 78%, and I do believe it's just because we were just taking crazy risks in the final third,
Mm.
right? Just general
Mhm.
turnovers because we're taking risks. Um,
Mhm.
to rate the performances of our newbies, what was your take on Romero for the day?
I think this was the perfect context for him to start a game because um, it is at home. He has the support of the 3252, but isn't not. It's against a team that we should beat, and he doesn't have to be tested too much, but he still has the pressure of starting. So he needs to have confidence. He needs to be able to do certain things. And, he was tested, but not tested too much, is what I'm trying to say. And I think he did really well. And that's just a testament to him being used to, like I said earlier, being the youngest player on the pitch, have being thrown in situations where, he's playing with much older players in professional settings. So I think that, I heard his post game interview and he was just like, of course I was nervous, but I told myself that I just needed to focus for 90 minutes and it would be fine. And I think that's what you got to do as a professional player is you need to make sure that your focus is there every single minute of the game. And he did that. He looked great. He had a good save. He looked, his footwork looked well. At one point he like ran all the way down to the touch line and saved saved a
Yeah,
ball.
yeah.
Made me a little nervous, but he got there. So I think he looked really comfortable, honestly.
He did. There were a few things that I noticed early on that I was like, okay, he's pretty much trained himself to play within himself. He's not trying to do too much. He's doing the
Mhm.
basics with when what his defenders trust him to do. Couple
Right.
things that stood out right away. Goal kicks, early stage.
Mhm.
Everything was basically a pass out of the box. It wasn't
Right.
anything distance. It was keep it short, keep it simple. And I think in one case, a
Right.
defender actually took the kick. So I
Mhm.
was like, well, that's interesting. All right. You don't see
Yeah.
that a whole lot.
Yeah.
And then there was one play where a ball kind of got popped up in the box. It was a cross that
Mhm.
was deflected.
Mm-hmm.
And some cases you'd say, well, just let the defender clear that out. Instead, he comes flying out to the edge of the box, and
Mm-hmm.
it's way up there. He gets under
Mm-hmm.
it, gets a perfect leap. The defender, the attacker didn't even bother with it because he knew he didn't have an angle to do much with it outside of maybe low bridging the kid, which you're
Mm-hmm.
not going to do early in the first half. So
Yeah.
that right there told me, okay, he's fine. He's comfortable where he's at. He seems just where he needs to be. Even in
Mm-hmm.
warmups, he didn't come across nervous at all. He was ready for this moment. And,
Yeah.
and we've been discussing he is the future. He
Mm-hmm.
really is seen as a player that we're building into. We spent a lot of money to get his rights.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something we know. And you got to know that he did play in USL. He's had crazy performances there, even before Las Vegas. He's won a national
Mm-hmm.
championship. He has a history of winning at every level he's played, and now he's here. Future is now, but let's be real. Sis is still the starter. Romero is the understudy. That's not
Yeah.
going to change. We get the SKC game this weekend. It's going to be Cisniega, no question. If it
Right.
isn't, there's got to be an injury involved. Like, we know
Right.
this, and Romero knows that. He's an understudy.
Right.
Perfectly fine, but he's impressive on the day. Jennings, what was your take on Jennings this week?
My take on Jennings was that I think his inexperience showed a bit. He obviously is talented. He has technique and he has hustle. I didn't think he performed as good as he could, and I think just his timing in terms of his runs were off. And it just takes time. It takes more game minutes for him to be able to get that experience. And I think that's why you see him, moving back and forth from the lights into here. But I do like Jennings a lot. I think he has a lot of potential. This game, he seems a little frenetic and a little bit lost. But hey, that happens to everybody. And like, we just need to give him more time to develop.
Exactly. He didn't do anything that was egregious,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, there were things where he didn't quite read our own plays.
Hmm.
The run wasn't quite there. It was a step late.
Yeah.
Uh, early stage stuff. But as the game
Yeah.
progressed in in the early stage,
Hmm.
what I did like a lot about him is he really liked to pressure the other
Hmm.
backs. And he seemed to be really good at reading where the next pass was going to go from
Mm.
the opposition. And so he was
Mhm.
always positioning himself well to always have a presence,
Yeah.
to the point where you could see there's going to be a moment where he's going to steal a ball. Like, he's just
Yeah.
waiting to poach and steal, which is something that's a different dynamic for our front line. We really don't have players that think in that mindset, you could say, where I'm
Yeah.
going to generate it for myself and make this messy.
Right.
He has that in him, and if you've seen him in the USL level, he does this. He kind of knows where to be in terms
Mhm.
of anticipating. In terms of system play, yeah, he's got to get used to it. He's got to get his timing right, and I think with
Right.
minutes he'll get that right. I see
Yeah.
a whole lot more upside in him right now than I'm seeing in Musovski right now. That's for certain.
I would definitely agree on that. And yeah, I think Cal Jennings would do well to just kind of like watch what Baird does well, kind of like his understudy in a way. But I'm not too worried about him. I would love to see him get more minutes in the future. So I think that as long as he pays attention, you know what I mean, and then pays attention to how the midfielders, where they want him to move, and what he needs to do in terms of finding the right pockets of space at the right time, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, the sell is there. You don't have to convince him to do the dirty work. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was happy with it. And of course, I know we're beating around the bush. Let's be honest. We all want to talk about
Yeah.
Kim Moon Hwan. This is the story today.
Heck
Kim
yeah.
Moon Hwan playing right back for a while and then playing right wing back for like his greatest moments, his greatest
Mhm.
hits of the night, playing under a full moon. So telling.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm going to give this to you because I was elated at the performance. But Christine, what was your vibe on this performance?
It was so great to see him start and have that game for his first start. What a special 90 minutes that he had. And especially because it's sort of like his proper introduction to the fan base and the supporters. It's for him to really connect with them, to feel their support, and to also deliver. So he got man of the match. He played really well. The dude was like drenched in sweat. He looked like a drowned rat. Like he was working really, really hard. And I think whenever you have a player who is giving that much, who's that generous with their runs offensively and defensively, you're going to have a lot of fans supporting that player because it's a very earnest, optimistic approach to playing the game, and he's working for the team. So that's what I was really impressed by. I think that he combined with Blessing and Vela really well on multiple times. Super dynamic. They had their little triangles going. It's not perfect, but I think with time, they're going to really be able to read their plays, and be sort of like, in a way, read each other's minds more and more. And when that happens, when that clicks, it's going to be completely lethal because Kim, along with Blessing, along with Vela, his first touch is very intentional, and he has enough pace to really take defenders on. His pace, I think, is really what separates him from other wingbacks and is going to give him an edge in this league. So when all of that chemistry happens and you can see it developing, we're going to have a really, really special combination happening.
It was glorious. I'll be honest. I love how tight he can keep the ball in possession while on the move. The ball doesn't lead out a whole lot when he's moving in on a player, when he's attacking down the line. He doesn't let the ball out too far. He doesn't.
Right.
Others like boot it and go, right? Blessing, rip and run. No, he's still looking for that within 2-step touch. Like it's very much, I'm going to keep this close, and he's always looking for the cut in. More than the cross in many cases. He's looking for the cut in, which is dangerous because as a defender, there's no cheating here. You know he's not always going to try to go around you. He's going to cut inside and look for an inside pass, and it's another step. And then when he does run out of options, he doesn't hesitate to bring the ball back.
Yeah,
he does. Yeah, no hesitation.
Yeah.
If he keeps playing this way, there's no way you can't keep him out of the lineup. He's playing elite ball. I think maybe his trip over to play for South Korea in that higher level of training session and it's inspiring. And I think he came back with that little extra edge.
Right.
And hunger's the story. You could tell like he's not going to leave anything out there. It's done, and he's to the point where he looks like he's going to collapse at the end of the game.
Really?
It's really hard to fight
Point of
against
exhaustion.
that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're like waiting for the cramps to come, and then Farfan hits the deck, and you're like, wait a minute. Like, that's a guy I would have expected. It's good things. And then his comments to the 3252. It's just icing on the cake. He gets it. He gets the vibe here.
Yeah, and let's not forget, it's never easy for players from overseas to come to a new country, new city where they don't speak the language. And I think this game meant a lot for him to feel the support of the 3252. And that connection with the fans is really important in terms of motivation and just how hard you're able to, how much you put yourself in every game. So this game, I think, is a really, really important start and like the best and the most ideal start that we could have imagined for him in terms of the combination of him and the supporters together and how he performed. So, I mean, I always love to see a Korean player who's not afraid to take people on, who's creative, who's got swag, who's going to make some people like that. I know every other Korean American watching him is just so proud to see that style of play because it's just like, you want a player who's good, but you also want somebody with style. And I was really happy to see him every time he took players on. I was like, yes, let's go for it.
Yeah, he's got elite technical ability.
Yeah.
No question. I again, and the willingness to turn over for the sake of a big play. I'm good with that. I am perfectly fine. You don't have to play like a robot.
Exactly.
Right? Shake it up a bit. And credit to Vela too, because I mean it's well documented that Vela's been kind of taking him under his wing to help him adjust in. The fact that Vela was on point for this game and they were both playing at that level, there's a synergy there for sure. Only good things. I mean, really good stuff. I can't say much more except, dude, thank you, Kim Moon Hwan, for choosing to play for LAFC. I'm really happy to have this situation, and I really want to see the 5-3-2, especially now that he can get in that position and do what he does best. So
Right.
praying that's a change. Yep. Other things to cover for this match before we transition out. Shout out to everyone who went the game. This was our best attended match since like playoffs 2019
Mm-hmm.
on a Wednesday night, guys. Like, bravo to all of you buying in and making it happen. That was beautiful. And then the 32-52.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we haven't missed a beat. The sounds were perfect. It got louder as the minutes went on.
Yep.
We got that rough game under our belt where we were just trying to find our legs, and I think everybody's now found them, and we're quickly getting it into match day shape as well. So that was good to see, guys. Well done. Everyone noticed it. I think Brennan, who's in the chat right now, was like, "Dude, I could hear them," and that's not just like a mic. That was legit loud in that section. So good stuff. Good stuff. Christine, anything else you want to tie up for this match before we throw it into the comments from our amazing supporters?
I was just happy. That was like one of the first matches where I didn't have to like write the recap, so I was just enjoying myself. I was, part of
Nice.
the crowd. So good game, everybody. Good job.
What section were you in for this one?
I was in 115. So got to see Kim on the second half.
Nice.
Which was kind of good, yeah. So that was really fun. And when you're that close to the players, I'm always a little like taken aback how they look and like that close. Usually I'm like up in the press box, so that was cool.
My first reaction is they're so young.
like
on TV,
babies.
they seem older. They're kids.
Right?
Yeah. And then we love buying the kids. So, right? We always
Yeah.
have the youngest players. So that's good things. Good things. So I'm going to throw it out to everybody right now for the comments and definitely throw them out there. Roberto Espinoza basically says, so like our midfield was on point, right? Very much on point because they had more freedom this match. The system kind of added to that. So good things indeed. Moving forward. Hey, Brendan's giving a shout out to Christine. Says good afternoon. So happy to see Christine back.
Hello. Hey, Brendan.
As am I. Yes, we it's the crew. There's no doubt. Oh, I like this one. I would love to hear what beer DJ Fresco got from Joseph for the bet in episode 187. I believe the bet was whether K would start or not, right? I mean, that I think was the biggest point, and if there'd be major changes to the lineup. And I kind of went, yeah, it's going to happen. I think that's what that was. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was about K, and then K came up questionable. So I was like, well, that's not a push bet. It's done. So it's probably going to be Shiner, just like my boy LAFC Punk gave me the other day. So there it is. Christine's back from international break. LFG. Mark's showing some love.
Hilarious.
Roberto Romero was not bad, honestly. He was good. He did his job, made his one save, did what he had to do. Mark's like, how was Romero's distribution? I didn't get a sense of it. I don't think I saw a moment where he turned the ball over.
Right.
Like,
okay. Same.
It wasn't one. It wasn't like Cisniega where he always clears it to the same like area near the half line towards Bob's side. Like it's his go-to, like, oh man, I'm out of luck. I didn't get any of that in this game. Brendan, man of the match, was the keeper from Dallas. He had an absolute blinder. I agree. But you don't give it to goalkeepers in a loss. Sorry, it doesn't happen. But yeah, he's the best player on their team. And when you say that about a team, that's probably why they're in last place.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're featuring your goalkeeper as your star, yeah, it's because he's getting too much work.
Yeah.
Let's see. Going down to Roberto. Yep, should have been 5. I agree, Roberto. Should have been 5. Sifu should have put it away. Yeah, he agrees with you. I think we all thought he was putting it away. It just didn't happen.
Right.
And Roberto doubles it. Should have been 2. Yeah, I mean, we were all over these guys. Brennan Dallas should try to sell the keeper. His price won't be that high ever again. No, I think he's moving up no matter what. Roberto Espinoza says Blessing was so aggressive. Agreed. Agreed. And I think it's because he had the freedom knowing who he had behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nestor was impressed with Moon, so he's very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mark says, I wish Vela would have gotten that goal. It was a beauty. Agreed. It would have been goal of the week. That's for certain.
Hmm.
Brendan says, with the way LFC had been, it was a must-win game. Yeah, it is a must-win because now the games get way tougher. We play real opponents. I think we've got SKC this weekend and then RSL right after that. These are both teams potentially playoff at the end of the. Well, for sure, I think.
Yeah.
I would say SKC is a guarantee. They're killing it right now. Roberto Espinoza, we are gonna hit our stride right in time to make a run up to the table and into the playoffs. You mean the Seattle approach? Just do enough to get in and then kill everybody because everybody's well rested and didn't overextend to try to win a shield or anything. I'll take it. I like this. Jumping on to Nestor again. We are slowly seeing a lineup 3-4-3 with Moon on the wing. Looks like a new lineup and could motivate players to try things different. It looked like a 3-4-3 at times. It's just usually when you look at a system, you go, what happens on the dead ball defensively? And that's really where they go back home, you could say. And yeah, he threw down 5. The flexibility, the wing backs, you're like, well, however you feel, that's how we're going to play. So at times it looks like a 3-4-3. Dude, at times it looks like a 3-3-5. I mean, way up. Everybody's way up. So it's flexible and really hard to defend that way. Moon and Farfan are great attackers. Moon, yes. Farfan developing. I'll say that. Farfan's developing into a great attacker. By the end of the season, by the time we get to playoffs, yeah, he'll be dialed in on his distribution. I guarantee. He's a quick learner. He's a really smart player. So, yeah. Roberto says it was beautiful, honestly. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. Nestor says Moose still doesn't convince, rather have Jennings. I think we're all in that boat and would rather have Baird as well. So, Moose of last year hasn't shown up yet. I'm hoping he does. He has it in him, so let's hope we see that soon enough. Brennan forgot Harvey was still a contracted player for us, thought he was a coach. He kind of is a coach for the active roster.
Mentor.
He's a mentor, yes. Either that man's going to be up in the booth with Max pretty soon, or he'll be either part of the academy or staff because he bleeds black and gold. There's no question about it. And again, it was beautiful to see him get some minutes because the man has earned it. Total respect. Vela seemed really happy, like he was having fun for the first time all year. I got to say, it looked like he was having. I thought he would look angry, like a good kind of angry. Christine, what was your take on his approach?
When he came to the sidelines where I was sitting, like he had like crazy eyes. Like he was like angry, focused, like he wanted it. So yeah, and I agree. He looked like he actually was. You can tell, like the emotion was there.
First half angry, second half happy, right? Loving this. Mark Lopez says Vela's smile after he hit the post definitely showed he's having fun. Yeah, I mean he's in it. He's dialed in. He finally looked like Vela.
Yeah.
Marvin, second best defense in Western Conference with 10 goals conceded. I don't know if that's a good for us or a bad for the rest of the West. Nobody's really holding anything back right now. It's crazy. I mean, all of the long distance goals that have been dropping this season have been just bizarro in MLS. There's just been so many quality strikes this year that it's hard to defend against that quality. You know, the quality is bumping up a bit this season. That's why the records are so tight right now. It's tough, competitive. Our defense isn't the problem as much as this season. It's that we aren't scoring enough. Yeah, there's always that balance, and when you're not scoring enough, other teams can cheat on you and really put more pressure. And then I think our death knell this season up to this last match, turnovers in our own half, resulting in hard luck goals. Just ask Bryce Duke. Or Murillo in a competitive match, right? Just bad turnovers and then dead ball goals, especially in corner kicks. The preventables, we'll say. I think that's why we've been so irked with the defense. And from run of play, they haven't looked bad. It's just these hiccups, these brain farts that have been killing us. So the numbers aren't bad. It's the timing of when they were dropping those goals that have been killing us. In terms of scoring, I think things are looking up. So let's hope it stays that way. But you're right. It's not that our defense is horrible. It's just the timing of when they make these mistakes have been just horrendous. Roberto, Blessing and Moon were key players all game. Yep, we all agree on that. This is interesting. Nestor goes, yeah, Marvin, the first couple of games, no DPs. Then it was one DP. Last game was two DPs. We're still missing one. Hopefully during the summer, we will have a third DP playing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I get funky on this. If B-Rod does come back,
Mm-hmm.
think we could get a little bit strange and make him a wing back so he gets more room going in?
B-Rod?
You're
Are we talking about the same
playing him out of
B-Rod?
position already, so unless you play your 3-4-3 so you can play midfield like he loves to play,
Ooh.
yeah, I honestly think he's gonna get sold anyway, and we'll get an opening for a new one. I think we'll sell him for $1.50 just to open up the spot. Let's be real. Something's gonna give. I don't see him coming back here. I'd be shocked if he does. I think it's gonna be weird. Not unless we get B-Rod off the books. Yeah, that's key. Got to get B-Rod off the books. Not a fan of B-Rod. However, he had many assists, so we do get a better as a team. But we will see what will happen in the summer with B-Rod. Yeah, I mean, he had like 7 assists last year. He was our top assist man from his position.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we were frustrated by a lot of the moments, he still had some deliveries there.
Yeah.
Yeah. North End was rocking, according to Mark Lopez. This may be the third home game I've ever watched on TV, and I had the sound blasting following on with the songs. Yeah, they were crystal clear. It was beautiful. I didn't get to watch the broadcast. I was just there, and it was crystal clear. Right? It was right. It was right. Brendan, you're right. Romero does have a great future with LAFC.
Mm-hmm.
Jennings and Muth both have timing issues.
Mm-hmm.
Comes with time, comes with the territory.
Yeah.
They'll get better. Jennings needs more time with LAFC to get to know how heavy the passes from Vela, Rossi, and Atuesta are. Agreed. Time is everything. More about Jennings from Nestor. I think Jennings over Moose. I think we're all in agreement right now in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Lopez, what could the timeline look like for Cisnega to sell on and Romero to step up? Or is there a possibility we hold Cisnega long-term and Romero gets sold at one point? It's all depending on price, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens. I think Cisnega is going to be here for probably this season and next, and at that point you'd see a move. Right, this season to get a foothold into what he's doing, next season to win a cup for us. If we
I wouldn't be surprised to see 2 more seasons after this one.
2 more?
Yeah, it just depends on how he does, honestly. If he keeps developing, if he's able to get to the next level in terms of his goalkeeping. But
right, and then of course you're only a starter as long as you're healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's how goalkeeping works. And you get an injury and the other guy runs with it. Well, good luck with the rest of the season.
Yeah.
That's the reality of being a goalkeeper, right? We'll see what happens there. I think Jennings makes better runs and draws defenders a bit more. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys know why Kay didn't dress? From Nestor, he was listed as questionable before the match, so they didn't dress him. That's all we have. I heard potential groin injury, but I'm speculating. That's just rumor. I won't say that's that because that would be wrong. Yeah, suspected or questionable injury. That was listed. It could be just resting him, guys. I mean, let's be real. He was walking fine on the field after the game. He was goofing around and having a good time after. So
yeah,
precautionary, we'll say. Yep, glute issue. So there you go from Brendan. Moving on. Christine has the take from earlier. She always has the take. That's how it works.
Thanks, Roberto. I'll pay you later for that comment.
There it is. The big question with Kay not dressing is that he void the bet between. No, he didn't. The bet was the bet. He plays or doesn't play. Hello from Compton from Digit Chaser. Welcome aboard. Roberto Espinosa, it was nice to see the midfield not being carried by Atuesta. Agreed. It was honestly left to Sifu and Blessing to create chances in this game, and it's
Yeah.
Wested to clean things up and just keep things level, right?
Mhm.
Sound amazing on TV. Spanish broadcast always turns the announcers way up. It's kind of a bummer. Agreed. Marvin, I think Blackman is a better defender than Moon, though, and it would be hard to replace Blackman in defense.
Mhm.
Agreed. In the 4-3-3
Mhm.
right now, it's Blackman's job to lose. But if we're gonna play this wild 5-back wing back setup, then all of
Mhm.
our problems kind of get solved on that side, and it gives us flexibility.
Yeah.
Fair assessment from Marvin. I agree. It is. It's Blackman's position to lose. That's for certain. Oscar the Coyote. It was funny seeing everyone's surprise reaction when they announced the lineup for the game versus Dallas. Agreed, because we've never seen Bob switch things up. We didn't have to switch things up. So it was a welcomed change.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob. B-Rod going to Vegas. I'm all for it. She's shaking her head like, what do you mean? I'm just being me
You
because I
guys
don't
are
like
brutal.
Brisbane.
You guys are all brutal.
Salt. It's salt. That's what it is. Pure, unadulterated salt.
Mhm.
Brennan M. Oh, here we go. Should try for a player swap with Melbourne City. B-Rod for Jamie McLaren. Yeah, I keep hearing that name pop up in certain chats. So that would be fun. K flew out today with the team, so I'm assuming he isn't injured anymore. Yeah, it was questionable, precautionary. And Marvin, I like Moon in the 3-5-2. That's the thing. Was it a 3-5-2? Was it a 5-3-2? I feel it was a 5-3-2 wingback.
Yeah.
Christine.
I think it was a 5-3-2, and then of course the wing backs go up, so then it transitions into something else. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at
Mhm.
times it looked like a 3-4-3, like a 3-5-2. I
Right.
just love that flexibility.
Right.
I like Roberto. If I was any more salty, I'd live in the ocean. Yeah, in that moment, in that signing, yes. And we'll talk
Yeah.
about a rumor coming up in a little bit. So on that note, man, we covered a lot on this game. We got a lot more to go. So
Yeah.
let's keep going here. So we're going to transition on to the B&G Vinyl Club Minute with the one and only LAFC Punk. Let's bring the man on to the show. Welcome aboard, Punk. How are you doing tonight?
Not too bad tonight. I'm more awake than I was on Monday.
Mhm.
I apologize for Monday. I think I've learned that the next time I take my daughters out for like an all-day trip and then have to do a show, I think I'm not going to do it, because when you're out in the sun, you're outside all day with two little girls having a fun time, and
Mhm.
drive them home. And yeah, it was a long, fun day. It was worth it, though. My daughters had a good time.
Mhm.
But, man, I dozed off a few times in the last episode.
So what you're saying is that Roberto needs to share some of that salt with you to use a
Mhm.
smelling salt for the next time you're on, right?
All right,
Oh, he's down. Bring him back. Bring him back. A little bit of
Yeah.
magic sponge action, maybe. There you go. Punk, welcome back, sir. It's nice to see your eyes wide open, rested,
Yes.
and ready to surprise me, because from what I understood, you have a surprise album for me. So this is like going to be a super cool Vinyl Club Minute where we're shaking things up. So you
Oh,
have
yeah.
the floor, sir.
All right. Well, you challenged me to go kind of outside the box. I'm really going outside the box here. I had a Disneyland pass from like 2001 to 2010. Just fell in love with Disneyland. Still love Disneyland, but I just can't afford to go anymore. I can't even afford a one-day ticket, yet alone. I remember, just side note, I remember when the annual premium pass was $199 for a premium, pass. So, but during that time, I just became a Disney fanatic. And so my aunt, she grew up loving Disneyland, Disney, and she collected records at Disneyland from the 60s. And when I got into Disneyland, she hooked me up with all her old records. And this is what I got for this week.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Now that is a shakeup of shakeups right there.
Yes,
which
Pirates of the
are
Caribbean
we projecting
soundtrack.
something? Love it.
Yeah,
the original
this is
Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Yes, 1968. That's the copyright. That's when this was pressed. So, really went outside the box here. I have a few others like this. I even have the Haunted Mansion one. I've had what else do I have? I have a few ones from Disneyland, but my aunt gave me those a few years back. She told me not to sell them until she dies. She will find out. She lives in Vegas, so
Don't sell them.
she has connections in Vegas probably now. So
your kids will cherish those.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of Vegas, we got to call out our good friend Jerry.
Sir.
Oh man, he sent out a tweet today. If you guys saw it, San Diego Loyal played the Las Vegas Lights, and Jerry tweeted out "beat LA." So, wow, we got to bring back the old wow button right there. So.
Wow, bro.
Yeah, wow, bro. We feel like someone put on Twitter the scene from Godfather. Boy.
you. I'm gonna kiss you on both cheeks for that, Jerry. That's ooh, man. That's just oof. Come on, man. You're playing Vegas. It's like that's Carson level calling us other teams that we aren't and stuff like that. Like Carson level, dude. Don't be Carson level. Be better than that.
Alejandro Guido scored a goal against Vegas today. He had the opening goal, I think, in the 7th minute. I was watching the Vegas game and the Dodger game at the same time this evening. After watching the USL Vegas game, I'll be honest, I've decided I'm not going to drive out to Vegas to see that. So, not worth the drive or the money, the gas money to drive out to Vegas. So, but they lost 2-1 to San Diego. But Jerry's happy. But as I mentioned, he said beat LA. So it's we're
what else, man? We're still mourning the loss of a llama. Come on, let it go.
Yeah.
I kid. Really though, like I know San Diego's a little more dialed in this year than Vegas because it's in a transition, but yeah, man, don't dog LAFC, dude. That's not gonna fly with us. You know better, Jerry. You know better. All right, we'll move on and get to happy stuff. About the record, man. Good choice. The dude on the album looks like Diego Rossi, Joe. I'm just saying. I mean, bring it up. It's Rossi. Rossi with a sword. It's fine.
Yeah, sort of.
He's laughing. Yeah, he looks like Rossi. Dude, I've got some weird vinyls as well. There it is. That's Rossi invading Kansas City, Kansas. There it is. He just needs a mate somewhere instead of the sword, and it would be just like epically cool. There it is. I have a couple weird albums. I think I have like Electric Parade, the original Electric Parade album. Like
that'd be a cool one. I won't lie. I think that'd be pretty cool one to have.
Right.
I wish I could afford to go to Disneyland. Knott's Berry Farm, I got in for $48. Right. A season pass for Knott's Berry Farm is actually cheaper than a one-day ticket at Disneyland. So I'm actually considering getting that next year for my daughters. So they don't listen, so they don't know. That could be their Christmas gift this coming year because they had a good time and it's cheaper. So
yeah, no, Knott's it's become a little more kid friendly in terms of the rides lately. Easier to get onto them. A lot of cute rides. Oh. Well, that's about the parks. All good things. I will just say this: I used to have an annual pass at Disney, and I was given the choice: road trips or annual pass, and I went road trips. And so I stopped with the annual pass for the sake of football. So, funny story, but true. So that's that. Now, there's some other cool stuff. Now that the pandemic is dropping and we've all got our vaccinations, hope and pray y'all did. Watch parties are back. That's right, folks. Watch parties are here. I'm going to name off the one I'm going to be at, or at least try to be at. Trying as best I can to be there. I have to actually drop the family off in San Diego in the morning and then come back up for the watch party. That's going to be entertaining. But I am actually going to be at the Black Army and Pride watch party and beer bust. In case you know what that is, tap that keg, let it rip. So basically, Black Army and Pride Republic are going to be at High Tops in West Hollywood. That's 8933 Santa Monica Boulevard. Doors open at 2. Match kicks off at 2:30. I'm going to do everything in my power to be there. So if you want to drop by, drop by. It'd be cool. Now, I'm going to hand this over to Punk because Punk has done the homework. And he has found pretty much all the happening watch parties this weekend. So you have the floor, sir. What's going on? Where should we go see these games?
All right. There's a lot of watch parties and a lot of combination watch parties. Joseph just mentioned Black Army is going to be at the Pride Republic. The first one, Empire Boys, which I'm part of. We're going to be at Silver Lakes in Corona. I had mentioned to Joseph before, I have a lot of errands to run tomorrow, being that's a 2:30 game. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it out to Corona, because where I live now, I live in Laverne. It's kind of a good drive. But we're going to be in Silver Lakes and Corona. Now, when you go, make sure when you go to the parking lot that you mention that you're with the Empire Boys, or they will charge you, I think, $10 for parking, which I find ridiculous to go watch your kids play soccer. But they will charge you for parking. Just say, hey, I'm here with the Empire Boys to watch the LAFC game, and they just let you right in. You have to pay for parking. So game starts at 2:30. Usually these watch parties, get there on 2 and get to know everybody. Another one that's going on, it's just 10 minutes from where I live. The Crew, Inland Element, and Pomona Casuals are having a joint party at Metro Ale in Pomona. That's going to be crazy. That's 3 supporter groups. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Pomona, it's really close to out where I live. So that's what's cool. We have them in all areas, these 3252. 3252, from what I read, they're having an El Carnival. It's the address is 11466 Chandler Boulevard in North Hollywood. It did say bring your own food. So
yeah, that should be the D9 Clubhouse, I think.
Yeah, okay. That's okay.
Remember, they call it El Carnival because, going to be a lot of fun there.
Okay. Yeah, so
but
bring your own
North
food.
Hollywood, pretty much that's the norm.
Okay.
It's kind of hang out for them for most cases. They've been all over, but yeah, that's kind of home base. So good stuff.
It said kid friendly. So most of these are, Empire Boys, we're always kid friendly. So I don't know about some. Yeah, okay. Black Army's kid friendly. So we have kids that come out, the whole families come out, they have a good time. So hey, if you have a family, bring them out. The Luckies are going to be pretty obvious where they're going to be, Lucky Baldwins. So we don't, we still mention it. Luckies, that's where they got their names. They're going to be Lucky Baldwins. Tiger Support Group, they're going to be joining the 42 Originals and Expos. 42 Originals, you probably know what they're up to. So if you want to have some fun before the game, they'll probably hook you up. But they will be.
Match ends around 4:20, so
Yeah, well, perfect timing for the original. Yeah. So they're going to be in Koreatown. Don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. The
Beer Garden.
Beer Garden. There we go.
Beer Garden.
The Beer Garden in K-Town, 206 Northwestern in Los Angeles. So they'll be Tiger Support Group. They're always fun, cool guys. I've gotten to know quite a few of those guys, and they're always fun. You'll have a good time at those. All these are fun. And then I have the Cuevos are going to be at the Thirsty Merchant. That's the address is 12430 Valley Village. So there's a lot to choose from. Watch parties are a blast. And now that everything's open, everybody's going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you can go, trust me, go. That's what really got me more involved, was going to the watch parties, getting to know people before and after the game and during the game. It's like being the 32-52. So when you go to these watch parties, you get to do the chants, and it helps because you get to kind of practice the chants as well. I think that's kind of what helped me. My Spanish is bad, so the Spanish ones, I'm just like, I just do that. I can't. I should speak Spanish, but I don't. And there's some of these newer Spanish ones, I'm just really like, when I'm in the 32-52, I'm just standing there going, oh man, I feel out there right now. But
you'll learn. It takes time. I have some sort of functional Spanish. I kind of married into that. And playing football, you just kind of know the keywords, right? You just make it happen. Yeah, you'll learn. Just takes time. It's not that hard. It's just brushing up and staying active with it. Production of the words has always been tough for me too, but understanding is not a big deal. Thank you for the info on all of the watch parties. If you guys can't find one, I don't know what's wrong with you, because they're out there. I did want to bring up some other goofball thing that I saw. Was it today or yesterday? These crazy warm-up kits for a 4th of July weekend.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, dumbest warm-up kits I've probably ever seen by MLS, and it's such an MLS thing, okay? They're trying to sell it as World Cup 94 renditions. right? Which was the stripe kit, which I have, and I'll actually show that one to you guys in a future episode when they bring out the abominations they just made to show you that they're nowhere even close to
No,
this
they're not.
thing.
They're not close to that at all.
So they shot for World Cup '94 and ended up at Chivas USA. They did. There's no question. Those are Chivas USA jerseys. It is more Chivas than Chivas, and now they're forcing everybody to wear them. Of course, as things were breaking slowly, it was like, "Oh, your team has to wear that, ha ha ha!" And then wait, my team has to wear that too, and was kind of recoiling back, like, "Oh Lord, you know what they're gonna say?" And you heard the retro conversation, but I have one little point to make. One, you're not going to see this on our field. We're on the road in RSL. So you're not going to see us promote it. I doubt we're going to sell it. Forget it. It ain't a thing you have to deal with. Probably will never see us wearing it. Unless you're going to RSL, which I know a few of you are. But there is a team that does have to wear it on their field on 4th of July weekend for the whole world to see. So all that salt you want to throw our way, guess what? You own it. You wear it. It's so you. Even better, you got goat rejects on your field. So I'm going to love the ISO photos of Kleshtin and Sueño. So you can call us what you want, but you're sporting it on the field where they played. Who's the retro throwback now? Enjoy. So I had to say something because, dude, it was the most ridiculous thing. And, dude, Adidas and MLS, please do better. Don't look like teams that are, are we going to get Tampa Bay Mutiny ones for, like, Earth Day since it was green? I mean, you want to have fun with this? Let's have fun with this. Yeah, bad move all around.
Yep, I was thinking the same thing. I saw those, and I knew. I mean, the Carson fans suddenly just came out like crazy, going, "Hey, look, LAFC's got their retro jerseys." But then I looked on the MLS website, and every team has it, including the Galaxy with the Galaxy logo. And we know they're traditionally since '96 they've been home on 4th of July. So, you said, they're going to be wearing them on their field, the same field they shared with Chivas USA. They're going to be wearing red and white stripes. Yeah, and it's going to drive their fan base insane seeing their team in red and white stripes.
Kleshtin wears it well.
Yeah.
Kleshtin wears it well.
He had some good years there.
That's where he made his name at first before heading off to Europe. But and I guess Red Bull for a while. But whatevs. Enough about him. I'm just saying, you own it. Deal with it. Not our problem. We don't have to wear this at our stadium, so whatevs. All right, so other cool stuff to talk about before we get into SKC. You're like, man, this show's running long. Not really. We just got a lot to cover. Player rumors. If y'all were watching Twitter today, a name popped up. Like, hey, this kid could be coming your way. He plays for Pachuca, or doesn't really play, but he's a part of Pachuca. That would be Bruce El Mesmati Sangochian. Long name. He just goes by Bruce El Mesmati when he plays, but Sangochian is his full last name. He is a under-17 Mexican national player. He played for them in the under-17 World Cup and played very well for them, and was a part of that team that went to the final and lost in Brazil to the host. He is a natural left wing. Bombs in there, speed, pace, pretty much all the tools that we look for from a left wing. So he's not B-Rod. And he's young. He's 20 now. Interesting case because his family, he has a lot of family that, well, for a while, I guess they moved to the U.S. shortly, then moved to Mexico City, and then some of his family moved to Brazil. They are Armenian background. They're part of the diaspora. Nice. We have an interesting connection with players with Armenian backgrounds. I believe Atuesta and Rossi also have Armenian connections too. So this player, very aggressive. He's a future player. His contract pretty much ends in December for Pachuca, and he's not getting minutes. So I believe this next season is kind of the make or break for him, unless we're really getting involved with a loan to buy option. I mean, that's the rumor that we heard today. But again, it was Twitterverse, so who knows how far to take it. Other fun fact with him, he's named Bruce after Bruce Lee, and he actually has a black belt. So it's kind of trippy, right? But we'll see. I've only heard good things from everybody that talks about him. So maybe this is real. He does fit our system. So I'll take a 20-year-old player that's played in the under-17 World Cup that shows a lot of promise. That's a natural left wing, so we're not even converting him. And I guess he plays on right wing too. So he's versatile in the wings, and we like wings. Wings are good. So Yeah, maybe this is something real. We'll find out soon enough, and we'll get more information as we get it. I have a couple more things, but again, it's at rumor stage right now. Let's transition on to SKC away. Before we do that, Punk, anything else to add for community before I let you go today?
No, community. I just remembered the watch party in Pomona. They are taking, I think if you go on their Instagram, I think it's like hygiene products. They are having a drive on there. So check out either the Crew, Inland Element, and Pomona Casuals, any of their Instagram. Check out their information, and they are having donations at their watch party. So, like I said, I might be at that one just because I'm going to be out. I got lots of stuff I got to take care of tomorrow, and going out to Corona is kind of a long drive for me, and I could just drive 10 minutes to be at another watch party. So
make it happen, man. You're an ambassador for the North End anyway, so you're welcome with open arms wherever you go, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Thanks again for coming on tonight. We'll see you again next week with more Vinyl Club stuff.
All right.
Have a good night, brother.
All right, you too. Have a good one.
All right. So, again, thanks to Punk for coming on to do what he does best with the community and vinyl. Now we're getting into the football once again, going into SKC away. So, Christine, this isn't a Dallas situation, is it?
No, it's not. They're a good team. They're a very good team.
Right. So what can you tell us about leading in this match? How they've been doing in the lead up to all this?
Yeah, so right now they're second in the conference, but partially it's because they've played 11 games, whereas everyone else has played 8, 9, or 10. Their record is 6-2-3. And against us, they haven't played since 2019. They have 2 wins against us and 2 losses against us. So we beat them in 2019 twice. They beat us in 2018 twice. All of that is pretty much irrelevant for our purposes because it was so long ago. But I was able to catch their last game against Colorado. They beat Colorado 3-1. And they are a very good team. They play a 4-3-3. Their lead scorer, Daniel Salawi, had a brace in that last game. They call him the Hungarian assassin. They set Alan Polito for that game, or they didn't sit him the entire game, but he didn't start. They really dominated that game. Their expected goals was 2.68. They had 14 shots, 90% pass success rate, and not perfect, but Colorado's not a bad team themselves. So a lot of strong elements, particularly on their offensive side. What did you think about their last game?
I mean, they could have scored more. I know it shows the expected, but really they should have taken more. They were unfortunate to even allow a goal. Late stuff, back post. I think it was a little bit of just a blown mark, right? Cross of the rear. Yeah. It's a loss of focus, to be honest. The rest of the game, they were the controlling interest and controlling party. The one player to me that's just really fun to watch right now because he's blossoming into a true senior player, professional, is probably Busio. He's had some crazy awesome moments already this season. I think he scored a brace. He had a great free kick earlier on this season. And he's rumored to be going to Italy and also rumored to be potentially cap tied to either the U.S. or Italy. I guess Italy was knocking on the door, which now I guess he's been named to the U.S. roster for the Gold Cup.
Right.
So it's an intriguing international story with Busio. Right. But he's basically taken that spot in the center mid, which is crazy in a 4-3-3 to give it to a young kid, but he's doing the job. So it's cool to see where they're at right now. I'm not going to lie, I enjoy watching SKC play. I like Vermees' system. I like his approach to the game. Is very good at developing younger players and getting them minutes and getting them to produce, which I believe was it Shelton was playing striker instead of Polito, and he's one of their homegrowns, right? I'm not wrong in that, right? And I think he scored as well. So their young kids still are producing, but he doesn't abandon the older, experienced guys like say Russell out on the right. That guy's been around a while. the mix is good. The mix between older players, younger players, veterans, and stars. Nobody's held up on a higher level. It's you play the system, you do it right. Just ask Polito not getting a start.
Yeah.
Merit is everything with this team, and it shows. And then making it even harder in the back, it's Tim Melia. And
Mhm.
if you've seen him play, he didn't start earlier this year because he was coming back from injury, but this guy's a former MLS goalkeeper of the year, and he's starting to show that sign again. So this team is getting better. Yes, they're high in the standings already. I believe they're in second place in the
They're
West.
second.
Second in the West. They're gonna challenge Seattle as this season goes, and we're gonna have to find our way to get competitive against these two because they are kind of the example for the West. They are the top
Yeah.
dogs right now.
And I think part of the reason why you like watching them so much and they're just a good team to watch is because they play a really similar style that we do. They play, they're very much a counterattacking team. They're very offensively minded. Tim Melia he's one of the best, players and or goalkeepers in the league, has been for a long time. And he was also, I believe, on the provisional roster for the Gold Cup as well. And they're just very comfortable in a lot of aspects. So Busio, he's a star on the team and he's a star in the league. And you see, especially when we're playing, in their stadium, you see a sea of people with the number 10 jersey and the Busio name on the back, and it's going to be an uphill challenge for us to go into that environment and perform, and that's a mental challenge for sure. But just in terms of Tamelia, how many times in that Colorado game do you see the defense play out of the back, 5-10 yard passes, even under pressure? They're always constantly looking to him to play little triangles. And he's super, super comfortable with his feet, super comfortable under pressure. Not a keeper who's going to make a lot of, spazzy mistakes.
No.
Yeah. Same thing with Busio in the midfield. They're a patient team. If they're playing against a team, not that we play a low block, but, in their previous game, they were against a team that, had to play a low block. They're not forcing it. They're playing really patient. They're waiting for the right moment, the right openings to attack. And that's why Busio is a star. He's a really smart midfielder. But I would say the highlight for me is really their offense. Shallowy, he's a fast guy, super fast. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see him go up against whoever's playing on that side, whoever's got the start. They play really direct. They're able to find, those runs behind the back line. You mentioned a couple of the veterans, Russell, and they've also been playing, I believe Espinoza has been getting a
he's
lot of
playing at the right
minutes.
mid.
Yeah, he's 34 years old, but he's been putting in work. He hasn't been looking tired. He's been looking like he's a guy who can run, who still has legs. So this is all to say, really hard game. Not going to be at all like our last two games. This is a game that's going to really, really test us and challenge us.
It's these guys in Seattle, right? I mean, they are the feature. We haven't shown elite level yet. We had moments of it in the last match, but not consistent like these teams have had. So this is a tough one for us. This could go south real quick if we're not dialed in from the first minute, and they will be all over us in a crowd that's been full. They kind of act like the pandemic never existed there. I mean, they've had a crowd for pretty much all season. Kansas is like, what pandemic? So it's really, it's packed. They're gonna have everybody on top of them. Like the noise we give, they're gonna be giving the noise too. It's a beautiful place to go see a game for those who are going out there. It really is. I got the chance to go a couple years back, and I look forward to going back again. It's a good place to see a game. They are trouble for us. I can't help but feel that the lineup that we saw in the second half might be a tell as to what we might do against them, because I think if we play 4-3-3 versus 4-3-3, we're going to be in for a foot race and get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. It's going to be hard for us. I would agree.
Yeah, I think a switch has to happen for this one. If it doesn't, I'm worried. I really am. The other question, of course, I think not them, right? I know their lineup, right? It's Melia, Sanchez, and Fontas in the middle and the back. Martins and Lindsay on the outside backs.
Mhm.
Hernandez, Bucio, Espinoza, Salawi, Russell on the wings. And the question is it going to be Pulido or Shelton up top? Which is an interesting battle for starting, but that's where they're at. Right? Could you imagine Pulido being your super sub? Like, what? Yeah. So
Yeah. I personally I prefer Polito, but yeah, I would expect him to start, but
me too.
Yeah.
I do. I think he was getting rested. That's why he didn't get the start in this last one.
Right.
And God, he's a good player. I keep thinking, man, the All-Star game is going to be great because he's probably going to be on that roster with Vela, and
yeah.
it'll be fun. So the question less about them. We know what they're going to offer. They're not going to come out flat. They are who they are. It's us. It's what are we going to do? Is it the 4-3-3? Is it the 5-3-2? Christine, if we were going to make a bet, and I'm not betting you, do you think Bob's going to get crazy and do the 5-3-2 against these guys?
I wouldn't be surprised. I didn't think about that, but now that you mention it, that makes a lot of sense because they are such a counter-attacking team, and their strong point is their offense. I think that their weak point, if they have one, is their defense, and so we would be wise to use our wing backs to help with our own counterattack. But of course, we know that we need to be really careful in terms of throwing bodies up. If we played a 4-3-3, we could get in a lot of trouble with those counters, with turnovers, especially because we don't know who's going to start in the midfield. We don't know who we have. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was if we started with 5 in the back.
I hope we do. I do.
Yeah.
And then the bigger question: Kay versus Blessing. Do you think Kay gets back in the lineup?
Every time I make this, I call it, I'm always wrong. But I think that Blessing should probably start. I would put him in. I don't think he's going to start. I think there's a good chance Kay is going to start, but I have no idea. What do you think?
If we play the 5-3-2, he starts. If we play the 4-3-3, he doesn't.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. If we need somebody who's more disciplined in defense, Kay is going to be the guy. If not, then we'll play Blessing.
So what we're saying is, Bob, we're praying that you play the 5-3-2. I want to see Sifu like unhinged play. Like I like when he gets all that freedom. It's fun to see.
Yeah. That's a really good point. We don't really always get to see him have that much leeway in a lot of games, and we know he's one of the only players on our team that takes shots from outside the box. So we really need that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it'll be good. Now, the case for Kim Moon Hwan, what happens in this case? Is it one of those things where it's depending on the lineup, whether we'll see him or not?
Yeah, I read an injury report. I don't know how updated it is, but I heard that Blackman was questionable with a quad thing. So I think it really depends on Blackman as well. But we need Blackman. If we're going to play that 5-3-2, we would need Blackman to be part of that lineup. If not, then things might change.
It can't happen without him, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oof. So questions there. Again, these questions SKC has to deal with now that we've switched things up a little. They can't just assume it's the 4-3-3 because, hey, wait, they play good that way. And then the other question is for Bear. Does he stay in for this match? Does he sit for this match? Where do you think he falls in the line here?
I think he's starting for this match. I think maybe he was being rushed for Wednesday. But to me, that overall he's been doing his job, and I don't see a better option than him starting in that position.
Unless it's the 5-3-2, right?
Right. Yes, that is a good point.
Dang.
Then
right?
Everything changes.
Everything changes. You blew our minds, Bob. Keep doing it.
Yes.
Yeah, 4-3-3 he starts. If it's not a 4-3-3, dude's not starting.
Absolutely.
So I love this. We don't know what we're gonna see this weekend. The first time in 2 years, we don't know what we're gonna see walking out on the field.
Right.
I like this feeling. I'm tired of being that, able to predict everything before it happens. Like I get to be a
Yeah.
fan on this and go, not just angry, like, here we go again with this lineup. No, it's different now. So it's good.
Yeah.
Take on that.
The starting
I can't
lineup.
predict. Could you
Mhm.
even try to predict this thing?
I don't think Bob, like, I don't see him being that adventurous in difficult games, like really, really against top competitors. But in this case, like, we almost don't have a choice because we know that if we play a 4-3-3, I can see us definitely having a lot of breakdowns. And when we do have those breakdowns, they're really bad. Kind of everything comes apart in terms of the machinery. So, since you said 5-3-2, I feel like I'm going with 5-3-2. Like, and I'm sure they've thought about it as well. So, yeah, I'm going with a 5-3-2.
Love it. I want to be adventurous. I'm a cynic at heart.
Yeah,
I have a bad feeling if we're going to see the 4-3-3 again. I do.
yeah,
But in my heart of hearts, man, I want that 5-3-2. I really do. Because
yeah.
if that's the case, we already know who's going to be out there. Guarantee
Right.
they're going to be out there. And even if you put K out there instead of Blessing in that role that's a little more advanced, he'll still
Yeah,
do well in the job. Not as dynamic, I'd say, but
yeah,
definitely he's going to hold court.
yeah,
If Bucio's got to deal with both Atuesta and K in that 5-3-2, you're going to neutralize him.
yeah. Absolutely.
He'll get neutralized, and then that kills a lot of what they do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, do it, Bob. 5-3-2. We need it. We need it. Cool. Anything else you want to add for this thing that we should be looking for before we get into some comments from our faithful?
I think we're good.
Yeah, let's go for it then. All right, so I'm going to scoot up a bit. Saw some interesting stuff from the crew. Brennan did want to mention that there's some football to watch on Saturday night, midnight Saturday, LA time. A-League Grand Final kicks off Melbourne City versus Sydney FC. That's pretty cool, man. Thank you for the update on that one. Good deal. Strike one for Jerry. It's across the board strike on you, sir.
Uh-oh.
Don't do that. Yeah, not acceptable. All right. Nestor says, are they trying to get him as a DP or TAM for the rumored player? We don't know because it's just a rumor. It's a Twitter rumor. So we wouldn't know yet. Can't be DP while we have 3. So Marvin, talking about the SKC match. Speaking of Bucio, we lack a true number 10. Perhaps more than a striker. Our midfield transition from midfield to attack isn't the best. We lack creativity. Vela holds the 10, but he's a right wing. You're 100% certain. I think in my heart of hearts, that's where we're hurting is we don't have a natural playmaker.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. Like, I look across the lineups throughout this league and there's a natural 10, natural 10, natural 10.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that right now. So I agree. I think if we're going to get a DP, that's a great target to get. It makes perfect sense. Which, if you're playing the 5-3-2, it addresses it because now you have 2 attacking midfielders doing the job of what a normal playmaker would do. So there. Why we can't penetrate defensive teams as well? We lack a heel Lodero Valeri. There's the 10, right? There's the natural 10. I agree. I would love to get a playmaker on this side. Someone that can pull some strings. I love Atuesta, but Atuesta is a natural defensive midfielder, a controlling midfielder, not a playmaker. Even though he's had some crazy passes, he has his moments, but it's not his natural role.
Yeah.
Brennan says, one of my favorite players from a European club plays for SKC. Hopefully he has a bad game. Understood, sir. Moon will start and score for the first time in his LAFC career. Let's go. That's from Mika Mote. That's hilarious and cool, and I'm all for it. And he has the potential if he keeps cutting in. There was one play against Dallas where he chose to let the ball off rather than just keep plowing through a goal. And I couldn't help but feel like, dude, you had him busted. You could have gone in within 3 yards of that goalkeeper and slammed that ball. And he didn't do it. He chose to play disciplined on it. He had that moment. It was already there. So 5-3-2, Bob. Get it done. I keep saying over. Sydney FC fans can't travel to Melbourne for the grand final as everyone locked down. I heard everything's locked down in Australia again because of taxi driver picking up from an airline crew. Like, it's just a weird story. But yeah, they're struggling a bit with the new Delta part. Let's hope we can do better. And I mean, it's unfortunate. So Brendan, we're praying for you, man. We're hoping you can get free soon enough. We can get you back here, especially seeing how fans aren't able to travel again. It's just kind of scary to see that reality yet again. So praying for you, man. Just hoping things work out. So that's the comments that I see right now from everybody. I don't see any others dropping. If you have a final one, drop it now as we go. Brendan says, there we go. We should try to steal the Whitecaps rumored player attacking midfielder Ryan Gauld, free agent in the summer. Hey, you never know in this world, except, MLS, when you say somebody's yours, nobody else can touch them. It's kind of weird rules here about discovery rights, but you can buy those. Just ask Romero why he's here. We just kind of bought his rights. So we shall see. With that, I think we are good in terms of comments, which brings us to that moment of the show where we give our final comment of the day. Christine, I'm going to have you take lead on this, and then I'll close the show out. Again, thank you for coming on tonight. It's been absolutely brilliant to see you back on with me, doing what we do. It definitely feels like a throwback episode, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a good time, and I love reading everyone's comments. So, my final thought is, I had a really good time at the Wednesday game, just being in the crowd. I'm gonna be with the Tiger supporters group tomorrow. I'm gonna check out Beer Garden if anybody wants to check that out. And I'm just really excited to see how we do as a group going forward. We still have 25 games left to go. And I know that it hasn't been the easiest season in terms of how our play has shaped up, but every team goes through these things. And I feel like there's so many positives to take away in the last couple games in terms of, Kim coming on, the kids. Let's just keep focused. Let's keep supporting them through the thick and thin. And hopefully I shall see you guys, some of you guys in person now that everything's opening up.
Yes, there we go. Thank you, Christine, for the encouraging words. And yes, perspective. It's really early in the season. Good take. And now we realize we have some options to switch things up. Took one match to allow a switch up, and we goes, oh, wait, we do have options. Who would have thunk it? So good call, Christine. Love it. I did want to thank everyone involved, especially Christine and Jason tonight for jumping in and making it happen. Thank you, Brendan, for keeping the chat flying. You've been super busy with that, and everyone else that's been on there, Oscar and so many others. Thank you guys. It's again, you're the reason why I keep doing this, why we keep doing it. Without you, there is no pod. No doubt about that. It's for you, by you. Your comments drive what we cover each week. So again, beyond thankful for everything that you guys do, and show who you are week in and week out, being the faithful that you are. So with that, again, thanks everybody. Enjoy the viewing parties this weekend. They're going to be pretty much off the hook since it's the first big ones we've had for nearly 18 months. So again, pace yourselves. Be careful, guys. Get home safely, right? I mean, I think that's a good message to say, is now that we're free, moderate, have a good time to a point. Good times more than great times, right? And support your team, wear your colors. I love it when people wear stuff before the game and make it happen. So there it is. And on that note, I'm just going to keep it simple and say to everybody, love y'all. Stay golden.
Thank you for listening to the Heart of LAFC. Make sure to leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher. Shoulder to shoulder, the black and gold is taking over.